Yo, what's up guys, VPirate613 here, bringing you another commentary. So today I have some news to tell you guys. Diablo 3 and the Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines developers joins Obsidian Entertainment. They're working on a new RPG, and I'm going to tell you why this is pretty fucking cool, okay? And also why I'm still a bit iffy about it. So the lead world designer for Diablo 3 and the co-founder of Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines is now joining Obsidian Entertainment to work on a narrative-driven RPG, which is called Tyranny. So it is going to be like a top-down perspective game, like to the side, I guess. And you know, you get to play a customizable character, and the actual plot is you're basically someone who is in the army of an evil overlord, but it's the aftermath of a war, and I'm not too sure what this is, but what I'm excited is that the guy who developed Masquerade Bloodlines, if you guys don't know, is one of my favorite RPGs of all times, and I put that just below Fallout 3 because Fallout 3 is one of the best RPGs I think ever made. Maybe some other games might be it, but I definitely put Masquerade Bloodlines just below it because it was a well thought out game, and if you've never played it, I recommend you going, and you know, you can probably get a good deal nowadays because it is an old game, but there is some mods just that if you want to revamp it just to make those textures look a little bit more pleasing to your eyes. It's just a great RPG with a great storyline and actual RPG elements that really fit well in the world, the vampire world that they built, and the storyline just flows nicely, and there's quite a bit of stuff you can do, quite a lot of directions you can take in the game, and it was just a very enjoyable experience. And I recommend anyone, if you're looking for a great RPG that's story focused and that has really good RPG elements in, go check out Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. It's great. Now this new game Tyranny, it doesn't look like it's gonna be just like Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, like the actual third person or first person perspective, and actually they drive the story through, you know, a world it's not an open world, but it's, you know, it's like a sandbox, I guess, where you're stuck in one area. You can go to different areas, I guess, but it's not completely open world. That's how I see Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. Still great though, like there's a lot of stuff in those areas to go and check out, but it's not like that. This game looks like more like a Diablo inspired game to me. The aesthetic does look very Diablo inspired. It's not Masquerade Bloodlines inspired, but if these two people are working on an RPG, I think that this game might actually be very, very good. Now, the problem I see is I still not putting all my hope on this, because with Fallout 3, what happened to Bethesda is that their games got progressively worse, and then we got Fallout 4, which was just not a very enjoyable RPG and just failed as an RPG in my eyes. It just was not a story rich or a RPG. It was just not a great RPG. You can go watch my review on that. It's a pretty old review, but my opinion still stands on that point, and I think a lot of fans would agree with me as well. And it becomes very hard for developers to create what they originally had envisioned, because it's hard to make what was already a fantastic and amazing game and remake it another game that is like that. Now, I'm not saying it will be a bad game, because I have good hopes that it will be a great game, but we're not going to get Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to those types of games anymore. I don't think we're going to get like that, well, those types of passionate and thought out games anymore. And you know, it could be because of how big these gaming companies are now, and because their CEOs and people in suits actually working at the top, instead of actual gamers or developers actually creating their game with their own team, instead of having, you know, people up top telling them that, you know, they need to make this amount of money, and you know, the ideas that they want to push out, the very strong ideas that may not work, but they're taking a risk. Like, I don't see many risk takers anymore, and it's kind of sad to see, because if we look at games like Metal Gear, was there many games that was cinematic or like that at the time? No, it was a big jump for Kojima to create a game that had that Hollywood like TV vibe to it, where there's cinematic and it's focusing on voice acting, like actual proper acting. And you know, games over the years got really good at this and they improved, but one of the first few games that did this was Metal Gear, and the jump from that was a very big risk, and it paid off because a lot of games do the same thing now. So I think that there's not many risk takers anymore, because people up in the company of those game companies might be saying, no, this might not work, so we're gonna have to change this and do this just because our marketing wants us to make this amount of money on release, this much on sales, and this much and we want to be able to release it on a good platform. And obviously, if from a business perspective, you will always see the benefits of this, but from a gamer community perspective, it might not always be that great, and that's fucking sad to see. But as I said, I expect great things from this RPG. I don't like the aesthetics, though. It doesn't really please me as a game to play. Like, I've never been that big a fan of the Diablo aesthetic, and from that point of view, one of the very enjoyable games I played was Shadowrun Returns. Those were games that, you know, I still put on my top list for great games, and hopefully it will turn out like that, and hopefully these two developers will drive that passion into this game like they did with their older games, Diablo or Vampire Masquerade. And I think we'll see a good game from this. I mean, I'm not saying it will be extremely great like we did with Diablo or Vampire Masquerades, but hopefully I think that this has a good chance to be good, and I look forward to seeing more stuff from this game. And you know, hopefully it does well, hopefully it's good. That's all I really had to say, guys. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and as always, guys, peace out.